Eli? Oh, Eli!
Hang on 2 seconds.
Eli!
Sorry, it's Dahlia Mageddon in here, honestly.
What seems to be the problem?
It's just so many, just no space. Let me show you. Oh. I've got 1 or 2 dahlias. Tubers are potted up because it's too cold for me to have these out in my garden yet. So I pot them up in the greenhouse so they can be in here with a bit of warm to encourage them to sprout. And then when they're bigger like this and it's warmer in the garden, I can plant them out in their final homes. Problem is, the greenhouse is really full with all the other plants that I'm growing on, and this is getting silly.
Ah, I see. Have you not seen my little trick for starting off dahlias this year?
Yeah, I did, but I have to be honest, I didn't really quite get it. It's so different from kind of how I do things. It blew me a bit.
Well, let me take you to the greenhouse and I'll show you how it's done. So like you, Eli, one of my concerns was space, especially after last year where I had loads of pots of dahlias cluttering up my living room. So this year, what I decided to do was wake up my dahlias in sandwich bags. And very simply, you're just popping your dahlia into the sandwich bag, surrounding it with compost and then closing up the top, just leaving a little gap. So here's a couple I've got on the go at the moment. And what I've been doing is just placing them side by side in one of these mushroom trays. And that mushroom tray has gone on the windowsill inside. And you can see how much of a space saver that is than if you had loads of pots of your dahlias. The other advantage of the bag is that you can see the root development, which is always nice. Plus, if you don't cover the very tops of the tubers, you can see the shoots as they come up. And if you get in plenty of shoots on your tuber, you can even take some cuttings and increase your stock of plants. So here's some cuttings that I took about 3 weeks ago. They're all looking really healthy. They've definitely grown. I can see root development as well using this clear cell tray, and they will be ready to be potted on very soon. But I've increased my stock of dahlias about threefold by doing that.
I've passed that stage now. I'm a bit further on. This isn't even all of my dahlias. But here's the thing, right? It's probably bad to label that as a TikTok hack for your dahlias, because obviously the hack's not about growing dahlias. Doing stuff in the bags, it's not going to make them grow any better than they would if you put them in pots. So why do people do it? Well, you heard Kerry say it. It's about the fact that it saves space. Imagine if I had started off putting all of my dahlias in sandwich bags. It would have saved an awful lot of space. I could have, like she said, I could have stacked them up on a shelf here. Also, it would have helped with that thing where right now, I've got at least 3 pots. Hang on. Yeah, 3 pots where there are no signs of shoots yet. Now, experience tells me that it's putting on roots under the surface and those shoots are about to pop up. But that's experience. If you're relatively new to growing dahlias, this is going to drive you insane. Looking at pots of compost with nothing shown, it's going to drive you nuts, and you're going to want to go rummaging around in there to see. And the problem is, those little shoots, when they first come up on the tuber, They're so delicate and so easy to snap off that rummaging around, quite often you can knock those shoots off without even knowing about them. So that's the thing. If I had done all this in the sandwich bags to start with, I'd be able to see the root growth, so I would know something's happening. I'd then be able to see the shoots when they're coming up. I think actually it's quite a cool idea. I wish I had properly paid attention and maybe done this last month, even just for the space. So yeah, my question though, Kerry, do you just leave them in the sandwich bags? Because I'm kind of thinking once these start growing, they're going to be too big for those sandwich bags. And I can't put mine outside for a wee bit yet, it's too cold.
Yeah, I think if you're starting to wake up your dahlias now in the sandwich bags, then probably by the time you've got good root development and some shoots, you'll be okay to put them straight out into the garden. Now, I started mine a month and a half ago. So most of mine are outgrown their bags by now and have been potted on. So I've got a couple there that are now in these pots. So these both had cuttings taken from them. But of course, I left some shoots that could then develop into the plant from the tuber directly. Although now I have got big pots, it's warmer. So these can stay in the greenhouse and in the lean-to, and they're not in my living room on my windowsill.
Oh, man, I wish I had properly paid attention and I could have tried this before I ended up at this stage. So given I'm struggling for space, and I've got some that aren't sprouting yet, I'm going to try it just for fun. Like I say, it's not going to do any harm, so why not? This is just craziness. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Now, these could have roots in here. They could have little tiny sprouts just about to hit the surface. So if you are going to do this, if you've already planted your tubers and you're thinking of doing this just for the nosiness like I am, just be very careful when you're handling them. So this is my fireworks dahlia. So let's see. Like I say, very, very careful. Now I'm assuming it is grown in there and there's going to be masses of roots and stuff. Yep, there is roots. So let's just turn this. And what I'm going to do is take off some of this soil just so I can fit it in the bag. Now this is why I chose to do it with the smaller ones, because they need to be small enough to actually fit in the bag, which is obviously not an issue if you're just putting the tubers in. But because I'm a bit further on, I would not recommend you're doing this at this stage. This is fun. Okay, so. Now what I'm doing is just making sure I've got things the right way up. Oh, yep, there we go. Nice, moist compost. Because that is the key with these dahlia tubers, is moisture. You don't want them all drying out. Obviously, as I said, it's a bit late for me doing this. It's a bit of fun. It lets me see the development of the roots and stuff as it happens. So I'm going to do that with this one, just because, you know, I love an experiment. And if this is awesome, maybe I can do this next year. We don't all need to do things at the same time. Kerry's garden is way warmer than mine, so I'm always behind her on things. You might be slightly behind. Maybe you've not started your tubers yet. Maybe this is something to try. Like I say, for space, it would be amazing for me. And I suspect I might be trying this next year.
Brilliant. Well, if you want to know more, check out my previous video. And I'm going to crack on, I think. I'm probably going to put these on. So good luck with your dahlias, Eli, and I'll catch you soon.
Okay, guys, if it's handy then, there's Kerry's videos. Okay, go and have a wee watch, see what you think. Is it something you might try? And I've got to start dealing with all of this lot that needs potted up. So I'll see you guys next time. See ya. Thanks, Kerry.